Live now?
Checking to see audio.
Yeah.
So give me a second to
There we are.
test.
Hello.
Shalom.
Curious, do you
Yeah.
hear audio?
Yes.
Oh, hello. Hi. That means we're live. Hello and welcome to Penny for a Tale. Tonight we are playing Pathfinder, 2nd edition. This is the Age of Ashes campaign. This is our 43rd episode. If I've counted correctly, we are about halfway through book 4 of the Age of Ashes adventure path. But before I get into the sponsors for tonight, let's reintroduce our cast, starting with Mr. Smith.
Hello, I'm Mr. Smith. I think I'm still playing Rune Ravenswood. We are in a mess of shit, and I'm eager to hopefully get out of said shit. I hate smelling like shit.
Apt. James.
Hi, my name is James Glass, and I am going to be reprising my role this evening of Waldorff Skysteel, otherwise known as Dorf, the Dwarven Cleric, and I am here to, I'm here to fuck shit up.
Precisely. Sam.
Hey guys, I'm Sam. I'll be playing Aghi, the half-orc barbarian tonight, and it's in a bit of a dilemma, but it'll be fine. So, yeah.
Smidge. Jen.
Hello, I'm Jen. I will be playing the Vesperin tonight, the Sea Elf Rogue. And while there may be a possibility of death on the table tonight, it will not be for me.
And last but not least, Daniel.
Hi guys, take two. So I'm Daniel playing Sailix, who has no spoons for anything right now, and can't wait to see where this goes.
I can relate to that.
Tonight's game is sponsored by Smiteworks. They're the creators of Fantasy Grounds Unity, which you will see us using the virtual tabletop. If you like what you see throughout game and you're looking for a virtual tabletop for one of your systems that you're running virtually, or just augmented with some sort of virtual tabletop setup, highly recommend them. Go to fantasygrounds.com to check them out. We are also sponsored by the Only Sheet, which is a Microsoft Excel based character management tool. You can manage full parties, level 1 through 20, multiple systems, including Pathfinder 2nd edition. If you're interested in something like that, go to theonlysheet.com. And lastly, Michael Gelfi and Rock Narden on YouTube, Spotify, and YouTube Music. They both have music, and Michael Gelfi has ambient tracks. We'll be using all three. But let's get back into game. Last we left off, we were in a bit of a predicament. Dorf seemed to be conspiring against you. I think everybody has a slightly different idea about what that exactly means, but there isn't a lot of time to sort it out. The guards are moving towards you all, approaching. If anybody had anything else before initiative is rolled that would apply, tell me now. Otherwise, Rune Ravenswood is at 42, which puts him top of the stack. Two guards are approaching you. Same with Dorf. What do you do?
Oh God, jumping right into it. Rune will take some steps back, just putting his hands, allowing his staff to float next to him, and putting his hands up in a not necessarily a defensive pose, but just a hold on. Wait a minute.
Right.
Can we at least have a conversation?
Interesting. Yeah, well, there's a bit of a calamitous response to that. Everybody is confused, riled up by what Dorf has said. But do you do anything else while you do that, Rune?
Communicate to my raven telepathically.
All right. Next up, a pikeman. He doesn't seem like you're a threat. So he moves towards you. He sets his spear down to appear at least calm to the crowd. They seem quite worried. So he just moves to grab you. Do you resist?
Oh.
Please.
Meaning, is this a roll versus your fortitude DC to grab you?
I mean, yes.
Right. All right. And let's see. That will be. And
I mean, my fort DC isn't all that high.
right. What's it, like 29 or something?
No, it's 31. Oh,
31. Oh, well, he
Didn't
doesn't
make
grab
it.
you. You swatted him away.
That slippery wizard.
no swatting. There was no
Indeed.
hitting involved. No hitting.
The next one moves towards Aghi. Calmly, just as
Oof.
well. Just stepping over.
Mm.
Athletics check to just grab you. It isn't even threatening. 45. Your DC is
Jesus.
probably somewhere in the 30s. It's a critical success. You are
yeah.
grabbed. They have more they can do, but they don't. They seem to wait. They're trying to take this calmly. Vesperin, you recognize these faces that are doing it, though. You know what they're doing, and they're doing it on purpose. What do you do? Your turn.
So, in this crowd, are there, like, is it mixed or is it mostly unspurned?
Oh, there aren't very many unspurned. I mean, at least not very many that you've seen.
Okay.
A crowd wouldn't make up unspurned. So maybe there might be a couple if you had a chance to look, but a lot of more disguises anyway.
Okay.
It's kind of a miracle you even recognize these guards. People are mixed about it, though. They don't like outsiders.
So, Vesperin would hold up her hands and just be like, hey, we got definitive fucking proof that we did not kill Kelda. So can we take it down just for a second and talk it out?
Eyebrows go up. Upon hearing that,
Lies.
You've got two actions, Vespa.
So, I mean, can I keep going?
Sure.
Ask yourselves right the fuck now. Why is he looking to escalate when we're not? I'll take you to what we got. Willingly. I will even surrender myself over. Just bring it down. Because we don't gotta go this way. But again, ask yourselves, who here is looking to push this? Because we're not. We got nothing to hide. Maybe he does. Maybe you should take him in too. Because someone's stories aren't messing up, and I ain't afraid of mine coming up to snuff.
So, Dorf, it's your turn.
Of course they want to de-escalate. Of course they don't want violence. That's what they want. Don't listen to their lies. Take them into custody, put them in chains, and then we will deal with this.
I'm thinking I want to do opposing diplomacy roles here, or even intimidate.
I'm down.
Interesting. The crowd, yeah, they need someone to follow here.
Intimidate, you said?
Yeah,
I'm using diplomacy.
you're trying to scare the crowd.
Okay. Please, Ian, let me know if I need to hero point that or not.
You would do well to hero point that.
I'm gonna hero point that.
All right. Versus the
I'm gonna.
intimidate.
Where am I exactly? I'm gonna step down.
You are
Oh my god!
On the floor already.
You're 20 feet. You're 20 feet west of Vespa.
Actually, I'm actually going to step up onto the stairs so that my voice carries better and people can see me more. If that's all right.
All right.
If I can move to approximately there. Up onto the steps next to Colorin.
All right. Excellent. That would be your turn.
they
Aghi, you are
resist,
grabbed.
Don't be gentle.
He says if they resist, don't be gentle. Do you resist this arrest?
Yes. I mean,
I was hoping you'd say that.
how? Okay, so I think Aghi is just going to try and reverse the grapple. If she's able to. Okay, that would be
Athletics check.
athletics. Sorry, my helmet.
I got it for you.
Oh, you're faster at this.
30 versus the fortitude. I won't tell you if that succeeds or not. You got a 6, a nat 6.
Oh shit!
I won't tell you if it succeeds or not, but if you, actually, it does not succeed. It does not reverse the grapple. But a hero point would be working in your favor.
Yeah, let's hero point that.
Oh.
It's worse.
Ah.
Yeah.
You grabbed.
Aghi is struggling.
Sailix. You can grab. If you
Alright.
grab, it changes the flow of the grapple. If you grab this guy, all of a sudden she's not grappled.
Would I be able to like use intimidating glare to like just stare him down off of her?
It might work. Let's see. Demoralize.
Can Aghi aid that by like whispering profanities?
Well, intimidating glare would help her. Yeah, give it a shot. It won't break the
Alright.
grapple itself, but it'll help her get out.
I rolled it into the tower.
Do. All right. Nat
It's not
1
good
there.
night.
Oh, God,
I'll tell you right
damn.
now.
I sneezed. All right. Well,
Puppy dog eyes. You have a hero point. If we're just
Yeah,
squeezing them
why
all out
not?
now. Oh.
I don't care. Do-do.
Ooh, much better. Much better. He looks frightened.
With that, if I were to grab Aghi's arm, would pull her towards me, would his grip break free?
She would have to. Well, so demoralize helps you. He's got a penalty
Right.
now, so it flatly will help you pull her out. Let's make an athletics check, still against his fortitude
Okay.
DC, to pull her out.
Why am I still -1?
Excellent. Great roll. He steps back. He lets go. The angel
All
of
right.
death before
And with
him is not something to mess with here.
my third action, I will take off into the air with Aghi in my arms.
Ooh! Suddenly about 40 feet up in the air. The angel flies away, much to the anger of the crowd. He's resisted arrest, or at least that's how they see it.
If they weren't guilty, why would they flee?
Rune, that puts you there at top again. What do you do?
You speak of guilt, follower of Droskar, god of the Durgar.
Ooh.
As Rune turned towards the crowd, why would those noble dwarves listen to anything this man has to say now? Traitor to your people, to your deities. His honeyed words because he can't create anything on his own, attempting to fool the lot of you. Will you let this stand? Will you be duped by Droskar? By one of his own? As Rune will put his hands together, cuffing at the wrist as if to be manacled in front of the guard in front of him. If you trust him above all else, I will come with you willingly.
The spearman who set his spear down to approach you takes your arms, shackles them. The look in his eyes tells you he's in on this in some way. Under his breath, he whispers, calls you an idiot in Dwarven, but he'll chain you up if you let him.
Rune just smiles. We'll see who the idiot is here before too long.
He'll move you along over to the other one, who now suddenly has nobody to grab. The second one, though, actually, frustrated at the business with Aghi, turns to Vesperin. And with the movement, then begins to try to shackle you. Do you resist?
She does not resist. And,
Okay.
you know, makes it a point to, like, again, draw attention that she is not resisting to the crowd. And she is specifically looking at, what's his face?
Collar and
Collarun.
Chisel Rock.
Yeah, so as if making a point. So, yeah, so basically, is it my turn now?
Yes, it is your turn. You are chained, though, with shackles, but yeah, you can still act. Go ahead.
So, you know, she, like, looks at the chains and, like, looks at Dorf, and then again, locks eyes with Collarun, and says again, I got definitive fucking proof that we did not do Kelda in. Please, take him in too. Because again, he's making a lot of claims without nothing to back him up. You got me. Take him in. Worst is he loses some time.
Other guards are making their way over, Dorf. You don't know how well you're doing
Yeah.
in this situation. So what do you do?
As I step down off of the stairs, I'm saying to the crowd in a loud voice, "These baseless accusations will not stand. They say they have evidence, and yet Kelda lies dead and cold. I have witnessed them making having parley with the undead king." And I step down off of the dais, off of the stairs, walk down to Rune, and I cast silence on him.
Is that a
I will
save?
not listen to this.
Believe it is a will.
The target makes no sound, preventing its touch.
It should still have
only-
a save of some sort.
I'm
Right.
Because I
reading, it
remember
doesn't-
when I had to cast it
doesn't
against.
say it in the. It says one willing creature, and he is not willing, I would assume.
Yeah.
Probably a
Right.
basic will
It
save. Then.
does not say anything
Yeah.
about a save in the spell description, though. Unfortunately, I'll leave that to Ian.
It's weird it mentions no save. Material somatic
Doesn't.
targets one willing creature. Makes no sound. So I think it's designed as an enhancement of some sort.
The
No.
target makes no sound, preventing creatures from noticing it using hearing or other senses alone. The target can't use sonic attacks, nor can it use actions with the auditory trait. This prevents it from casting spells that include verbal components.
I think that's the one that mutes you so you can be stealthy. There's because the one that Hysteria had was offensive, because I remember Spence's character had to make a basic save, and that and they succeeded with that.
Yeah, I think that's a fortification spell. That's a buff. You should probably use something else.
Okay.
You can also just attack him,
Um,
knock him out, whatever you want to do.
In that case, I
Drop this
won't
orc
do
on your
that.
head.
Let's see. What is the range on my chain flesh roaster?
You've got 10 feet at least. Might be 15.
So I can't reach Sailix and Aghi with that, right?
No,
They're too high
they're
up in
just
the
out of
air.
your reach there. Yeah, but I think you
Okay.
might have something.
No, I'm just gonna try and use my diplomacy or whatever to try and get the crowd on my side. In that case, I won't do the silence spell.
Yep.
I also won't bother to step down off of the stairs if that's not gonna work. So I'll stay up there next to Colorin and just try and influence the crowd and convince them that I am right, and these interlopers, these outsiders, are trying to deceive them, and that it is definitely in their best interest to just come along quietly, as it were.
And the crowd suddenly is more polarized. You did great on your check, but still, it's mixed. The more superstitious dwarves maybe follow Dwarf. The ones that aren't wise enough to understand the weight of Rune's words and the sincerity of Vesperins. Aghi and Sailix, on your turns, do you do anything, or do you just make your way quickly out of the range of anything that might be fired in your direction?
Sailix is quickly getting out of range. He's heading out of town. Like
Oh.
he's
Why do
not.
they flee
not-
if they have
Yeah.
nothing to fear?
Hey, wait for your
Aghi
turn.
would be-
Justice will be done.
Like,
Yeah,
They're
If you're
the two
innocent,
worst.
why do
curses
you
have
run?
turned.
So it's like, no, I'll kill everybody here. I'm gonna leave.
They're taking
Mm.
Vesprin and Rune. Maybe we should kill them all.
You know,
They'll be-
Hromgar is there. He's made himself present, moving his way up the crowd, looking at Vesperin and Rune and staring at Waldorff, and then at Colleran in disbelief about what's happening. The guards seem
Oh shit!
split, but not all of them. Waldorff, you know the ones. You know the ones on your side. Things are working out seemingly in your favor. Rune, you notice one of the guards pulls a rag or a wrap of some sort. He looks like he's putting it over your mouth. Do you say anything before it happens? Colleran also, by the way, is getting distance from Waldorff and snapped a finger at a guard to approach him as well. It seems he'd listened to the Vesperin. But go ahead.
Rune, with just a quick snap of his finger and a prestidigitation effect, highlights the symbol of Droskar emblazoned on Dorf's armor, and simply looks to the crowd before knowing what's coming. Don't let the follower of Droskar fool you. Don't let his lies, his honeyed tongue, change you from the truth or sway you otherwise. And he looks to the guard. You have no need to put me unconscious. I'll follow.
Should you not resist, he'll still bind your mouth. And he leads you down the street. You do notice another guard does approach Waldorff. Put shackles on him. Waldorff, do you resist?
Initially, yes, just like a quick like pull away. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. He just looks at you. He gets real close. This dwarf. A blonde beard. You know the family well, but he gives you the chains anyway. You're shackled, cuffed.
Yeah. No. After the initial like pull away, I'm like, what? It's a nod and a like. If this is what it's meant to be, then so be it. And yeah, Dorf submits pretty easily, actually,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
Vesperin. They move to bind your mouth as they lead you down the road. Colleran mentions something about the prison, the holding cell. Do you let them do this?
She, before her mouth is bound, she would I want to express that she looks smug as fuck while all this is happening. So before getting bound up, she would look over at Dorf and then look at the Archmage and Stonemason guy and just be like, Dorf, I gotta thank you, because all this time I've been wondering who was looking to do Kelda in, and here you are, just came right out, saved us a whole mite of trouble. I'm looking forward to telling our story. And then, she gestures to the guard to continue, as if, again, it's like, this is obviously on my terms.
Yeah.
Your lies will not save you, sea witch.
as the wrap moves around his mouth as well. The crowd is
That's
split.
Misty.
She just gives like a saucy wink.
I love you, Jen.
I like you. Oh,
Vesper, and you do
man.
see that visage, that wraith, just watching from a rooftop at a strange angle, hard to see. Doubt anyone else has noticed. But he fades away as he looks at you, turning the corner. The guards mention something in Dwarven about heading to Chisel Rock Prison, conveniently built by the leader of the Stonemasons Guild, as one does for a prison.
In my endeavors, did I learn anything about this place?
No, it was renovated from an abandoned building, but aside from that, you don't really have anything.
Okay.
It'll be some time before
Then I
before your
guess
process.
if it's also possible, like she'd give Rune a friendly bump of like, we got this, in the best way she could.
Oh.
Yeah. Wink.
Interesting. Yeah, Collar and Chisel Rock leads them in. Hromgar Nalruven, the Archmage, he even helps you guys make way because he's quite disturbed by the situation. He knows more than you would think somebody would know about the Scarlet Triad. He was the one who broached the subject with you, Vesperin, and this whole thing is making as much sense to him as it does to any of you, I imagine. At least the big picture of it. It'll be a while before you're processed, but doing so, they will take all of your possessions except for your clothes. They'll store it in the prison. It will take some time, though. And for that, we will get back. But let's go to Sailix and Aghi. You're in flight, right? Above the haunted city, Sagarak.
Yes, sir.
Where do you go?
We go to the Dead King.
Do you?
Straight
Something
to
of a
him.
friend these days, huh? Yeah. You arrive above the wall. You see the massive pair of gates along the Great Wall that leads to the Noble District. You can hear things on the inside operating. The turning of mechanisms to allow the opening of the wall, but I imagine you just fly right over it, don't you?
Okay.
Yeah. Hovering safely above, there's a sense of ease amidst the sea of undead energy that you feel in your bones, but eventually you reach the Hanging Palace. You didn't have to walk along the path to lead you up either. You could fly directly on the balcony. What do you do when you arrive, Aghi, Sailix?
As soon as they touch down, Aghi punches Sailix, like right in the gut if she's able to.
Right.
Just like,
He had it coming.
He's gonna look at him like, I don't do shackles and chains any better than you would have. If we wouldn't have left, we would have murdered everybody there. And that wouldn't have helped anybody.
Vesperin and Rune wouldn't be captured.
Vespin and Rune are two of the most silver-tongued people I've ever met. They'll be okay. And if they can't get out, when we see the giant explosion on the horizon, then we'll know they busted their way out.
And if those are not the only two options, if we have to go get Rune's body,
then he'll probably be busy building himself a new one.
she just shakes her head and will like walk into the palace, but clearly is extremely pissed off at Sailix right now.
He'll just sigh and walk in after her.
Moody teenager.
The door opens. You're greeted by the king at an angle he didn't expect. He turns over his shoulder to see you. You enter the door, created at his leisure to enjoy his kingdom once upon a time, long before any of you were born, but awkwardly, he just turns his head over to look at you before standing slowly. He stares at Aghi, looks away, nods his head at Sailix. What do you say?
Right. So Vesperin and the wizard are tied up for the foreseeable future. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to take a second look at that war room of yours.
Come. He rises. The doors open. Both sets of double doors. You see the wraith you recognize. The lights move on. This time they're green. They're matching his eyes. That trail, that luminescent smoke as he moves over. He smells like a terribly old, ancient thing, ready to turn to dust, but nevertheless, he leads you across many halls. Eventually, to the war room, double doors open up to a circular chamber, a map of his city, the surrounding regions, some below, some above, is displayed on this massive table. He moves along to the far end where he sits at his second throne. What do you do?
Sailix will just start like viewing the map, like memorizing, committing like details to memory of how things are laid out.
Right.
He'll look to Aghi and he'll just kind of ask her. So, and he'll point to the area they were shown earlier, where the guy with the crown had. Is that like we had to get in here? How would you go about it?
Yeah, Aghi will come forward, and it just seems like as her eyes scan the map, the anger that she had towards Sailix just like melts away as she comes to like stand beside him. And she points to the mountains and then up to the king and asks if there are mines that go through these ranges. Separating the farming district and
Snaps
the
his
trade
finger.
district.
Yeah, suddenly lighting up a swath down the center of Sagarak. That great pass that you remember from arriving first outside of Jewel Gate. The Jewel Gate itself was sticking out in a large, what seemed like a cliff inside of this massive cave system. You do remember structures built, stratified all over that thing. And suddenly, you see the three-dimensional representation of it on this map, lighting up. He points to a large mine opening and runs his finger over several others.
They'd expect us
Why?
to go through the sky. They'd expect us to go through the city. I don't think they'd expect us to go through the darkness.
It's all darkness
Right.
here.
Yeah, but a little bit darker then.
So, this guy, he has your crown you need, right?
Foul Rock. Aye.
All right. Well, could you send us with some of those strapping guards to the mine entrance? Me and Aghi are gonna go play Foul Rock a visit.
Now,
Why not?
He looks at Aghi and then back at Sailix. Foul Rock was my second in command. Betrayal. Do you worry about that? He says, looking between you two.
Sailix looked at Aghi like, no, I don't.
you don't trust me, dead king? You think I would betray Sailix?
And if Foul Rock makes you an offer? He cocks a brow.
There's nothing I think that he could offer that I would take. Yeah, no.
10 of my men.
Just to the entrance.
There's much at stake, Lavendil.
Right. I generally handle things better when I'm in possession of all the knowledge available.
He points in his own district, behind the walls, northernmost point of Sagarak, the noble quarter. A little armory of sorts. A barracks, maybe. Grave Knights. They stand ready.
Then we'll be on our way. He starts to walk out. He'll just kind of like, without stopping to look back, he'll just be like, Colleen.
Yeah, she'll just like look at the map once more and follow him.
He stares at you. For quite a while, Aghi. And then slowly he just raises a fist and the lights dim. Perhaps as his offer that you guys leave sooner rather than later. With that, do you head there? To the Grave Knights?
To the Grave Knights.
Vesperin, Rune, and Waldorff. Obviously, all three of you are victims in this situation. Been processed. They took your things, everything they could find, and put you in cells to sort this out. You saw Kalaran, Chiselrock, and Hramgar. Now, Reuven, were part of the escort party that led you to this prison. It is in the barricade district of northern Kovlar. You've been placed in cells. Rune, you're next to Waldorff. As you were led in there, your chains were not removed, but the binds on your mouths Or you can speak. What do you guys do?
Well,
Um,
it's a bit of a spot we're in now, isn't it?
I don't know. I'd say things are going right according to plan and a bit better. Because again, now we know who done it.
It's fair. Dwarf, when did they get you?
Dorf doesn't speak. He just stares
All
at the
right.
floor in front of him with his manacled hands. Then you can see his eyes are closed and he's breathing deeply, and you can see like a vein on the side of his neck that is just like, it seems like he has a tension within him. He stays silent, and he doesn't make eye contact or anything like that.
I mean, again, and she'd like look at Rune a little apologetically, like, gotta admit, I'm a bit embarrassed that, you pulled one over on me, but, again, all things considered, I'd say it worked out pretty well.
I could have gone a bit better if you shared a bit more, but you are the Vesperin and all. We can only ask for so much.
Listen, we got results. You do not have to know how we come about these things. We got them. It's good.
So, Dorf, how much do you remember of Poppy, my sister? She misses you, Well, at least who you used to be. Before someone in Droskar got their hooks in your brain. She was hoping to invite you for dinner during the holiday. I believe that's why she was here looking for you.
When Rune mentions Poppy, Dorf closes his eyes, and you see a tear streak down his cheek. He still doesn't speak.
Are you still in there, mate? Wrestling with whoever's got your brain? Did you run into a spot of trouble you couldn't get out of? And Droskar got his nasty talons in you.
You know not of what you speak.
You're right, I don't, but I do know Poppy. And she's a good judge of character, if anybody. She likes you.
You could always just tell us.
There's no use. There's nothing you can do. He'll win. He always wins.
No. There's one thing I've learned. Few people get to win at whatever they're planning, particularly if it's larger. The bigger it is, the harder it falls, that's for sure. Trust me, I've seen the goddess of death stared her right in the face, and for all intents and purposes, I straight up cheated her. She screwed me over right good.
The more you fight, the more it hurts. And then he falls silent.
I mean, again,
he wants to say something else, but he looks like he's maybe trying to talk or wants to say something else, but it just won't come out.
So what are you on about, Rune? Speaking of Sharon and Finn, because I got the organizational bit of it, but all this religiosity is a bit beyond me, and it sounds like
I'm not sure if religiosity is a word, but we'll go with it.
It is now.
So that symbol right there, blazoned upon our friend Dorf's chest, is that of Droskar, the fallen deity of the Durgar, supposedly kicked out of the Dwarven Pantheon for cheating on crafting and trying to steal others' work as his own. Since then, he has
No,
made a
not.
point of using minions to do all of his work endlessly
Hang on
with no rest.
a minute. Cheating and crafting things to pass off on the. You think that's what's all going on with the Anvilers Guild?
Oh, it might be, yeah. After today, the thought had in fact occurred to me. But, we're stuck here, so one problem at a time.
I mean, she looks at him and just looks like she wants to finish his sentence, but I feel like Rune knows what she's going to say, and she just seems quiet, looking smug as fuck.
So,
Vesprin, you see someone in the cell between you and Rune. That fourth cell. Black-haired woman. Quite pretty, a veil over her face. She wasn't there even a second ago.
What the? Hang on a minute. What are you
She's just
doing
staring at
here?
you calmly. Rune, Waldorff, you see her speaking to an empty cell. Go ahead.
Vesprin,
Yeah. How did you get here?
I'm everywhere. Always with you.
Wait. Can I do a perception or something?
Yeah,
Eden?
you can do whatever. Yeah.
All right. Basically, I want to know if that's actually Morta in that cell or not.
It looks exactly like Morta. Her expression different, though. It's better stuff. She was kind of playful, as you remember her, but this is different. Go ahead, Sam.
Vesperin,
Yeah.
so I can handle Dwarf being all possessed and dominated. You talking to thin air is going to cause some problems for my day.
Hang on a second. You don't see her.
I got nothing else
What?
to do.
Morta from Breach Hill right there. She will
No.
look back.
Whatever you're seeing, you is either not there
Shut
or
the
just
fuck
for
up
you.
for a second. Hang on. She looks directly back at Morta. Who are you?
Who do you think I am?
I know who you're
She
not.
continues just to sit there.
Fuck.
You really do think you're so smart, but maybe not right now.
Holy. She, Rune, as smug as she was a second ago, it is gone. She looks terrified and freaked the fuck out.
Well, shit.
Are you afraid now?
I mean, I'd be dumb not to be, wouldn't I?
That's it. Maybe you should say that one more time.
So, I think I owe you a bit of an apology.
You owe me an apology. And suddenly the figure of Morta is in your cell right in front of you.
You
owe me more than
see,
that.
like, you see her, like, look like she wants to run the fuck away, Owen. But she is, like, standing her ground just by sheer force of will alone. I know. And
Who am I, best friend?
Pharasma.
There we go. I've given you this story, and you spit it back at me. You've disgraced me, Vesprin. I don't like that.
I didn't know what I was meant to do, and I was very lost. And again, I was a fucking idiot. But I think I'm starting to get it now. Some of it, anyway.
She will place a finger on your chest as you speak, right over where your heart's at. You've been playing with the gift that I have given you, Vesprin. She pushes a little bit further. The tip of her finger sort of piercing your skin. People die, Vesprin. Beauty fades. Love changes. But you, the one certain thing is you, and she pushes her finger a little bit further into your skin, will always be alone. Now, what do you think you've figured out with that smart little brain of yours?
Malgora, if there's a way that she can be freed or returned to whatever she was, back to the cycle, please. No one should have to live like that just because they love somebody.
Love is such a fickle thing, Vesprin. Didn't you love your family?
I did.
What happened to them?
They died.
Yeah. I met them. And they told me how they died. But no, we're here for you right now. You, Haral, Valgora, are aunts to me, Vesprin. Perhaps I haven't taken enough from you. Maybe your pretty angel. Maybe that orc.
Please.
Taken him once.
Please. Again. Whatever it is, please don't hurt others because of my mistakes. Just Whenever, do it to me. I don't care. Please.
She pushes her finger in further into your chest, and you could feel your bones just like cracking. And then even further, I decide when you die, Vesprin. I know when you die. Make sure that next time I see you, and then all of a sudden you feel your heart stop in your chest, everything going numb. Make sure that next time I see you, it's worth something. I am not at your beck and call. She'll suddenly pull her hand away, sort of flick the blood onto your face. You think you've won here. You haven't even scratched the surface, little girl. They're all paying for something. There is a price for everything. Do you understand that?
She's just like on her knees and like holding her heart where the hand was, and just like she can't speak. She's just like nodding.
Yeah, she'll look down on you and say, best friend, too many gods make a tangled web. Maybe you should reassess which temple you go to.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to ask
Yeah.
things of me, I expect something in return.
Of course. My lady? She looks like she has no idea how to address the goddess and is horrified.
She looks over at Rune for a moment. He still can't see her. But
You notice Rune has called the guards.
Chills.
You didn't know, you weren't paying attention perhaps to what was going on, Vesperin, but if you follow her line of sight, Rune has called the guards, Colleran is there, a pair of guards as well. The ones that escorted you, in fact. Dorf looks not okay. Not responding, but they're moving to unlock his cell as well as Rune's. Now, if you look back, she's gone. This image of what appeared to be Morta has vanished.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear again, but there is still blood on your face from what happens. Dorf isn't moving, not speaking. It looks like he'd been shaking. But he stopped. Rune, what do you say to either of the guards or Colleran as they approach?
He looks particularly at Colleran. What are you doing here? What is this?
Simply taking care of what needs to be settled. No.
Are you removing the dominate?
Dorf, get up! He moves into his cell. Kicks him hard. James, you're muted, but he kicks hard again. You can't tell if it's a wince or a rib cracking. Colleran wants him up.
Dorf barely reacts, but on the second kick, he stands up. He winces in pain, but other than that, you get no reaction from him whatsoever.
Ah, right. Well, you see, this whole mess disappears in one fell swoop. So, this wizard's made a mistake. He has taken his weapon, and he pulls the short bow from the guard beside him and throws it into Rune's cell. Now,
I don't even
He
use a
produces-
bow.
You should have thought about that before you attacked a guard. Dwarf. Be a hero. He'll hand you your whip, your chain, or whatever that wicked thing is.
For a moment,
Kill him.
like Dorf doesn't want to take it, but then he reaches out and grasps the chain. His eyes turn to Rune through the bars. And he then looks at Colorin and just gives him like the level stare and doesn't do anything. He doesn't move to attack. He grips the chain in one hand and looks like he's trying to decide which one of them to attack.
Have you forgot the plan?
Oh,
I haven't
Colorin.
forgotten a thing.
You've betrayed your kind.
He side-eyes you.
Huh. So you're the one. This is all you. A promise of power, was it? Rulership, maybe. Huh. You know, I think Dorf here is a bit more stubborn than you might admit, or want to admit. He has a bit of an affinity for a compatriot of mine, and I think she would be devastated to hear what happened. But Dorf will do what he needs to do, I have no doubt. And I can assure you, Colorin, if you kill me today, it's all well and good. But there are 3 people who I can assure you will hunt you down and skin you alive.
I'll take my chances. I think
You are the 5th person to say
Stares.
that.
He stares at Rune, but then at Dorf. Waldorff, not doing what he was asked. Fine. I'll do it myself. He draws a short sword, steps 1 pace into Rune's cell, and then I'll kill Poppy too.
When he says that,
James.
can I attack him with the chain?
Absolutely. Yeah.
When he threatens Poppy, Dorf breaks. It's like the drawn bow finally loosing its arrow. Every muscle in Dorf's body is as taut as a bowstring. It's like everything in his body is fighting something, and he finally releases, and the chain, instead of going towards Rune where he's been commanded to strike, lashes out at Colorin instead. Should I roll for that?
No, he's not good at any of this. I sincerely doubt that you have the ability to fail this necessarily, at least disarming him at his level. The blade falls to the ground beside the short bow. The guards are shocked. I'm going to roll initiative. Color and axe first, and then the guards. But we're going to get back to that. Sailix, Aghi, you arrive at the gates. The Grave Knights have lined up to greet you. They heard word from their king. You see 100 of them, perhaps. What do you do?
Right. So you can only take 10. We'll point to 3 elves, 3 humans, and 4 dwarves. You 3, and you 4. We need to be escorted
Plaid.
to.
Whoa. I want that sword. Sorry. That's badass.
They await your command, Sailix.
If he's given us all
Maybe-
these, could or just 10?
Just
Oh,
10.
he looks confused.
10 to take our pick from.
Hmm.
But we need to be escorted to the entrance to the mine that leads through.
Excuse me.
One of the humans steps forward. A banner with the skulls of what you imagine to be innocent victims who'd wandered their way in here. They step towards you, and they lift their sword. It looks massively heavy, probably as heavy as Leviathan. Blue skin and a weak jaw sort of swaying as he moves towards you. He smells foul. You're at your command.
Let's get going.
You can hear the loud gate
Aghi will actually.
to the south. Aghi will what?
Aghi will actually step forward and take Salix's arm and walk with him that way.
You hear the footsteps of 10 confidently shambling undead marching to your beat. It isn't long before you reach that gate into North Nobility District. And just like before, you hear it start to open for you. You set out for the Great Mine then, huh?
Here we go.
It's a treacherous journey to get there, but you have a feeling that you're going to be taken more seriously with a band of Grave Knights. But we'll get back to that. Top of initiative in the prison. Colorin attempts to retreat. Dorf, you do get an attack of opportunity as he does so.
I would like that very much, thank you.
Yeah.
I would like to attack with the chain. And try and it does have what is it, trip?
Yes, it does.
Hang on, let me
So
find
as your attack, you can choose to trip him instead.
Yes,
Great idea.
I
So
would
just
like
roll
to
anywhere.
try and trip him.
Excellent.
How do I roll that? Do I drag that to the dice tower? Or
Yeah.
yeah, I think that worked.
Oh yeah, that hits. He falls to the ground. For the reaction, he can't move. Next on count, a pikeman moves over. He attacks you. actually a push. Attempt to knock you down.
I'm still in my cell, right?
I believe so.
Have
Yeah.
they opened my door?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I would just
unlocked the
back away
door
from the
to
bars.
open your chain.
I would back as far into the cell as possible to make him come into the cell to attack me.
Okay. Okay.
If I can do that as part of my movement on my turn.
Yeah. It's a good strategy. Second attack. 14. That is it is a hit. Take some damage, but it's actually quite
Dwarf
significant.
smiles when he gets hit.
Pikeman moves to stand over Colorin. And attacks Rune. Swinging at him in an attempt to still somehow pull this off, to make it look like they were resisting, or that they had gotten a hold. Things went sour. They think they can salvage this. An immense amount of damage falling over Rune. But Rune, it's your turn. What do you do?
In similar fashion to hearing that his sister was being threatened, a glow begins to form underneath the eye patch. Even as the pikeman comes in and stabs at him, he just looks, and there's a slight wince of pain, clearly from the damage, but just a side grin as very wistfully a black, ghostly, raven-like form swoops in. As he looks at the pikeman, you see, wizards always have a trick up their sleeve, mate. And Corvus will cast on Rune Gaseous Form, as the form of Rune just looks at the pikeman and smiles. I'm going to murder you. As his body slowly shifts into gas, the manacles falling away as he slides out from the cell.
Excellent. And you can move, right? Do you have an action left?
Yeah, but not a good one, really. He'll move extra spaces to get next to the Vesperin. I can't move my token, though.
Moving. Yeah, I've got you. So, moving through. Vesperin. What do you do?
So I feel like Rune's scream of pain, like getting hit, knocks her out of her just deep and abiding shock. So is my cell still locked?
Yes, it is.
All right. Let's see. I guess she would like look at Rune and just be like, "What's the play here?"
Rune is a gaseous form and really only one visible eye, which is oddly enough the one eye that isn't visible in his normal form.
Okay. He does not look super well or happy. So I guess she would like look up to the, and call out the name of the wraith.
Aelin.
Yeah. What is it?
You utter the name. Aelin. You
Aelin.
utter the name. Do you? Yeah.
Aelin, you can give us some help here and knocking those chaps out. Much obliged.
He appears in front of you, twisting into form. But he moves slowly.
I will
Colin,
attempt a medicine to try to stabilize Rune. Or like give him some health if I can. I don't know if that's how medicine works or not.
I can't really touch him
Yeah.
right now. He's in a gaseous form.
Oh, okay.
You can prepare an action.
Okay. Then I'm going to wait in front of Rune and hold my action in case they try to barge in here.
Right. This wraith moves so painfully slowly towards Colorin. Looks like he's taking it in, trying to figure out what's even happening right now. Dorf.
Mm-hmm.
This guard is moving in as you're heading back.
Okay.
What do you do?
So in one movement, I would like to do the same thing that I did on Colorin and try to trip him, and then move past him and close the door behind me as I leave the cell. Locking
All
it.
right. Yeah.
So you tell me what I need to do that.
It would be an athletics check to effectively push him into the cell. But that should be all it takes to position you
Do I need to do an attack with the flesh roaster?
Nope, unless you want to. Because you have one action left, but...
okay, then I'll just do the athletics check if that's okay.
Yep.
You can do that for me.
Athletics versus the DC. It's a success. He's pushed into the cell. One action to move, one action to push, and then one action to shut the door would be your 3 actions. Suddenly, he's on the wrong side of this situation. The quickest justice I've ever seen served. Do you say anything to your friends? Real quick.
Dorf doesn't think he has any friends right now, so no.
I'm going to try to, with my held action, use thievery to try to pick the lock of the cell to get out.
All right.
Oh.
That's a success.
Okay. So basically, you see Vesperin spit something in your hands and then goes to town just like click, 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 click. And opens the door.
Excellent. You have 2 actions.
Okay. Can I get over there to lock the door that he just shut them in?
Yes.
Okay. And do you need me to do another thievery check to lock that? I'm not quite clear where the cell door is for their thing.
That would put you, you'd have to be in the same square as Dorf, which will trigger an attack of opportunity from the pikeman.
Okay.
Should that be where your beeline is? And he doesn't waste the opportunity. Yet he misses.
Yes.
Another thievery check to lock that door. Additionally, there is a key nearby somewhere, but it might not be as quick. Yeah. Shut and locked.
She takes the pick that she had used, jams it in that lock, and then breaks it off in there.
Yes! So now, like, Vesperin and Dorf are, like, face to face, like, I'm not sure what's going on right now, but...
I just imagine, like basically, she, like, took off at a run, slid under the pikeman as it was, like, whooshing over her, jammed the thing in there, and it's like, hi, Dorf.
Rune, what do you do?
What is the status of Colorun?
He is stripped on the floor. The wraith appears to be approaching him. Uncertainly.
Is he alive or dead?
At that, oh, he's alive, sort of scrambling, trying to get to his feet. There's a double door behind him, and it looks like he might almost be trying to scoot over back to it, looking straight at Vesperin, who walked right past him, and Dorf.
All right.
Dorf is staring death back at Colorin.
Still in gaseous form, Rune will sort of glide through the cells over to hover above Colorin. And the shape of a hand just sort of forms out of the gaseous shape, sort of wrapping itself around Colorin's throat. As slowly Rune begins to... He's not squeezing, but slowly Rune begins to take shape and reform back into solid. Again, there's that glow under the eye patch, and the smell of ozone is in the air, as there's just a spark of energy all along the left side of Rune, the same side as his lost eye. You will never utter my family's name again. If I ever hear it has come out of your throat, I will find you. You will be judged for your crimes. As he will cast Paralyze.
That's a save, huh?
That is a save, unfortunately.
Will, fortitude?
I believe it is Fortitude. Pulling it up here real quick. Nope, it is Will.
All right.
Give me a second. I will cast it, and it will do all the things automatically.
What's the... Okay, yep. He fails the save. Nearly critically.
Yep, he's paralyzed.
And with that shock persists as his body stops moving. It persists in that state of absolute panic and dread for this defeat that occurred so quickly at the hands of Waldorf's betrayal, as he sees it, I imagine. Do you do anything else?
Just a quick description. Vesperin will recognize the persona that Rune is giving off from the dream realm. As a matter of fact, the side of his body that is a bit electrified is the same. He's sort of split in half like he was back then.
Oh, in the dream engine.
Okay.
As it were.
Yeah.
As you remember, yeah, that little clockwork room full of crystals. A map of Galarian displayed, Vesprin, where you saw Laslan die.
He's definitely giving off that same kind of persona or presence.
Yeah.
But just as she might realize it, it seems to pass. And Rune just stands up. Dwarf, are you yourself by chance?
Hey,
Respond.
I'm more myself than I've been in a long time, lad.
Well, Poppy will be good to hear that.
Dwarf is staring death at Colorin. Can I have a turn?
Hang on a second.
As long as he survives.
Do we know if he's
Rune will take the time to use the manacles that they took off of Dwarf to put him around Colorin, in case he happens to break out of the paralyze effect.
Right. Plan for you three then. Combat is over.
Okay.
At least in a sense.
Yeah.
The guard, still standing, has dropped his weapon in shock. Colorin's paralyzed. Dwarf had his back for the longest time, and suddenly he's turned as he sees it. His best friend is behind bars, so he doesn't know what to do. He's trembling. His jaw has dropped. But yeah, go ahead.
Vesprin would look at the other pikemen and point at the cell that she just left. Just go on. Does he comply?
Oh yeah.
And then
do you take the short bow, the short sword, and the short bow out of there? The hand crossbow.
Yes.
That had been placed in Rune's cell. Okay, just checking, just making sure.
Yeah. And
Dwarf holds a hand out for the short sword.
Yeah, she'd give it to him. And she'd look at, Aelin the Wraith and just sort of nod of like, we got this. But like she looks at what's his face? Colorin, and and just kind of looks like a little bummed. Like she's not entirely surprised by the trail, but like, it's like, oh man, and I guess she'd like look at Rune and be like, there's not a chance he's controlled by the same thingy that Dolph was, is there?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure this is all him.
No, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Fucking hell.
Dwarf would actually step over to Colorin, holding the short sword that Vespa just gave him. Grip him by the front of the shirt, pull him up until their noses are almost touching, and say, "You give Droskar my regards," and slit his throat.
Ah!
Well, that was unfortunate.
Can we have had opportunities to react with reflex? Like, because again,
Well,
especially pulling him close and stuff.
Yay, you gave me the sword.
Yeah.
I didn't have a blade until you handed me one.
But you, like, you know, again, though, like, pulling him close and all that, like, those are gestures that have intent.
You have like
that we
3
see
moments
coming,
there
that
to
we
be able
would
to stop
react
me,
to.
I would say, yeah. I would agree with that. But that's what Dorf is.
Especially since
Jasper,
I'm
make a reflex save.
occupying the same square.
Dorf is now
Like,
out
if
for
I'm-
blood.
Yeah.
Make a reflex save.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you, you saw the wraith
I am hero
look
pointing
at you
that.
before. Yeah, you saw the wraith disappear as you were looking. By the time you had a chance to react, the blade had already started moving across the skin. This is damage control. This isn't prevention.
Okay.
You catch it in time. Blood is already
Okay.
pouring out from where you imagine a neck is underneath all of that beard. He's paralyzed, though, so you can't hear him scream. This is just blood coming out of a bag at this point.
So, medicine and to like stabilize this shit.
Yeah, Rune,
Rune
your stuff is
Rune just
nearby.
holds up his hand. Rune holds up his
After
hand.
doing so, Dorf would drop the short sword, by the way.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Rune will kneel down, and again there's a glow under the eye patch as his hand covers the gash made in Colorin's throat as he will cast Heal at 3rd level.
Why? Why?
Because she's still in danger.
Why?
You don't know the full head of it.
Dorf is like, it's got like his hands in his hair and is like on his knees in front of Colorin. Like
The symbol of Droskar falls off his body. By the time it lands on the ground, it's sizzling, ashy black, smoke rising from it.
Dorf moves to start beating Colorin with his fists.
At this point, Rune will use
Not
telekinetic
like
maneuver to
sheer
push
rage.
Colorin away.
Yeah.
If anybody can like pull him off,
and we'll pull him out of there.
but he is trying to he is literally trying to tear Colorin apart with his bare hands.
Yeah.
Just pure he's blank. He is pure rage and anger and pain, and he is trying to take it all out on Colorin right now.
Waldorff.
He doesn't respond.
So
Do you got him, Vesperin?
Vesperin's trying to keep, because again, I'm occupying the same square as Colorin is, so I imagine she's trying to pull him away and sort of act as interference there. So she's just like, I've got him, you get him.
I would say after a moment, Dorf lets the Vesperin pull him off, and he just starts to weep. He's just tears streaming down his face. His body is racked with sobs, and he is just he collapses kind of backwards into her and is just crying.
She would just, again, sort of sink down with him there and just, sort of let him use her lap and sort of do the
you feel him
soothing thing.
You feel him literally shaking in your arms.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody else would be able to hear it unless they're super close. But Vesperin would actually hear Dorf say, "Just let me die. Just let me die, please." Just
It's not my call to make love.
I can't do it.
You can.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And he just collapses into into tears.
Yeah.
Rune will just sort of not so gently throw Colorune into a cell, but not before checking to make sure Colorune is divested of all things that might allow him to escape, and will be checking Colorune for anything that would allow him to commit suicide and escape any other way. In the meantime, as Rune is doing that, his ravens are flying in with his equipment. And once Colorune is secured in a cell, Rune will begin putting clothes on. Waldorff, are you with us, mate?
Hey, I'm with you now, lad. In his eyes, he looks up and he says, just one name. And he says, Zephyrian. He's the
Who's
one.
that?
Oh, you'll know. You'll know soon enough. And Dorf kind of seems to get the big second wind, and he kind of collects himself and looks up at Rune and says, if you're with me, I'll lead you to him, and we can end this.
All right. One step at a time, my friend. One step at a time. We're currently sitting in the dwarven cell, and as far as everyone above us is concerned, we've just been arrested. And the people who were supposed to arrest us are now in the 3 cells that we were just in. So
I can take care of that. You just let me do the talking, lad.
well, the last time you did talking, we wound up down here. So let's take a moment. Let's take a bit of a breather. There's a lot that just happened here in a very short amount of time, my friend. So
Point about it, I also might be a bit on the wrong side of a goddess. So there aren't temples to Pharasma down here, are there?
Rune winces at the name. Vesperin, did you take something too far? Okay. And
well,
has the piper been asked to be paid?
Maybe.
Okay, you're scared. This is a problem.
I don't
All right.
really know how to go from here, but I feel like
Rune will
I
put
need to
a hand on her shoulder. We'll be all right. Take it for one who's pissed her off once already. So if she was here and didn't bother to say hi to me, I'll take that as a win.
Well, she sort. There was a look.
Don't tell me that. I don't need to know that. That's not good news to me. That's not. It's just we're in a spot of trouble, Vesperin, and you don't need to tell me that Death is looking at me.
But we need to go. If we
Thank you,
don't
Dorf.
leave
Thank you.
now, we don't have much time. If we don't get to him, he will get away and we will lose him. If you want
Where
this
is
to
he?
end, if you want this over, we have to go. to the forge.
Where is he? The forge.
He is in the forge. He is always at the forge, but not for long. If I know,
Is that why?
if I know him, then
Okay.
he will.
So I'm going to take
if
this
I
cue
know
from you,
Zefarian,
Dorf.
he'll know what's happened, and he'll be away before we can get to him. We must go now.
All right. So we're going to skip explaining this and go straight to this bloke. Is that right?
I'll accept everything on the way. Just
I can get to somewhere right now.
You just have to trust me. I know it's hard. I know that you've got no reason to believe anything I say right now, but you have to trust me.
Rune will hold out his hand
Vesper,
as
you know
his
about the
staff
forge
come
he's
to
talking about.
calling his staff.
Yeah. I know what he's talking about. It seems as legit as any.
All right. Well, here's a problem. We're down 2 of our mates, and they're likely rising up some army to come stroll through this town and burn it to the ground to save you. So we need to figure out a way to get a hold of them.
No, I'll tell them. You know, we'd figure it out. So we got a little time, but we don't got time for that thing. If you got one of them things where, if Aelin can send a message, that would help.
I have message.
Oh. Message is too short. Sending is better.
Well,
I don't think
You're sending it to.
Yeah, if somebody can message the Wraith to pass on to Sailix and Aghi what all we're doing, where we're going, and what's going on with the heel turn again, that would be cool.
Where's your falcon? Your peregrine? Vesper.
It was in the box that Belgora was supposed to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to recall where that was, but this Wraith is here.
So Rune knows where
Sailix
that
has it
is.
somewhere. The Wraith. You know where it is?
Sailix gave it to Rune. Rune put it in his mansion.
It's almost like it's me for that thing. Oh! Okay, sounds like you have a way. Oh. Well,
Okay.
that's a ways away.
That sounds like something Sailix would do.
The Wraith isn't far, though.
Yeah, Sailix didn't want to worry about it because he was taking care of Varys. So he was like, "Here, Rune, watch this. Don't open it." And Rune's like, "All right." So Rune took it to his mansion and left it there.
Is there a way to get it out fast, or?
Well, yeah, we just got to get back to the inn.
Okay, I don't know if that's feasible with where we're all at right now. Is it?
Just
the Wraith is gone.
The talking, lad.
Okay.
And as you're turning the corner, I imagine one of you is picking up Colleran. The doors do open. You see Grokar, Hammersong. He's the leader of the Guild of Arms. He controls the guards, not Colleran. Colleran is just a stonemason. He looks confused. Distraught.
Well, shit.
Can I use command and just tell him to stand down?
Grokar. Dorf, you know him not to be... Well, he wasn't on your side when you were on your side.
Not even a little
This
bit.
was all under his nose, as far as you know.
Oh.
He looks furious. He marches towards you,
no.
Look. Hang on. We figured it out.
stroking his orange beard. You ready to tell me what's happened here?
Speaking of beard, my beard returned to normal gold, kind of not black anymore.
So Vesperin would like look at him and again just be like, so right now, Kelda's alive.
she's not actually dead. But we need to catch her, the person behind all of this.
And I can lead you to him.
Regent,
Pulling,
I
pushing.
know
so
who's
Rune
behind
will
all of this.
Rune will look at the regent that's just arrived. Listen, I don't know what you want to believe. I don't know how you want to believe it. But I'll tell you this. There is someone apparently nearby that is extremely dangerous, and we need to go find them before they run. So, here is Kolarun. Kolarun was a bastard who is attempting to undermine, I'm going to just say everything right now, and we'll worry about the details later. Can you just let us leave and go handle this problem, and then we can worry about us and this situation when we get back?
Better send some
He
of
looks
your
over
guards
at his
with us
men.
to keep an eye on us.
Yes. Yeah, come along. How about that?
Yes, come with us.
He looks over at Dwarf. He can tell me who the good ones are, and I can string them up. Staring at Dwarf. He doesn't believe him. He doesn't believe Waldorff. He doesn't trust him at all. But he seems to
Nor
trust
should
you,
he.
Vesper Rune.
That
Nothing.
whatever
I've
you
ever
want to do,
said
we just need to go
no
quickly.
Was my
Aye.
own words.
He shakes his head
I
at
don't
his men
think-
again in utter disappointment. You tell me who to hang when this is all over. You can take my good men.
Done. Are we clear to go?
He steps aside.
Dwarf, if
You
you'd
move
be
out
so
of this
kind.
building, right?
Quickly.
Dorf would as what's his name? The guy that we were just talking
Grokar,
to?
Hammer Song of the Guild of
Grokar.
Arms.
I would as Dorf passes Drokar, he would stop for a moment and make eye contact and just nod and then extend a hand. I know you don't have any reason to trust me, but I swear to you, my word is true. Now, and I will be back to face your justice, and I will submit to whatever you and yours decide. Thank you. Thank you for trusting us this once. And he holds his
Kill
hand out to him to
everyone.
shake.
He shakes it, leans in. Kill everyone who called you a friend until now.
Oh,
As you move out,
you have my
You can
word
hear
on
him.
that.
he shakes his shoulders and cracks his knuckles as you guys leave, moving closer to the cages of his treasonous men. But I take it you make haste to the hidden forge, huh?
Yes. I lead
I'm
the
getting
way.
my stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you've
we
all-
gotta
you've all
stop
got
and
your
grab
stuff
our
ready.
gear first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, for sure. Okay, well, we will get back to that. Let's take it, again, to Sagarak. Breaching the Sky District, through force this time. They've made their way through the commons, the guild quarters. Those are quite easy. Most ghouls, they won't even bother with a fight they think they can't win. But as you move closer to the Great Mine, the Sky District puts up a fight. Barely. It isn't much. But you break through the barrier to the Trade District. You have your men, 10 of them. But Sam, Daniel, go ahead.
So, as Aghi and Sailix are moving forward, the 5 years that they fought in the war together just kind of come through in full force as Sailix presses forward, Aghi defends him at his flank, and then they could be seen doing some kind of acrobatic maneuver where Aghi will dip down and Sailix will like roll over her back and slash at another one as they move forward further deeper into the mine or to the gates.
Yeah, it almost seems like a dance because they're both just kind of relishing and like. Sadly, there's probably not any blood, but just the sound of enemies falling.
Cracks of thunder every once in a while.
Yeah, I feel like at
Grave
one
Knights
point
is so
Augie will like, as they're bursting through the barricades, Augie will like just take one of the logs that are sharpened to a point and just like spear like 2 or 3 of the ghouls and just like throw it.
That's so great. I love it.
She hasn't killed in a very long time.
Right.
Mm.
But it's probably quite alarming to anybody else that would just see even the Grave Knights because they don't even like say anything. They just are moving constantly. Once they get to right about the gates, Sailix will stop short, and Leviathan, like humming intensely, he'll flip it into reverse grip and he'll grab Aghi's arm and he'll look at her. Like, go on, show them while you show them why you were called the Breaker. He'll clap her on the shoulder and kind of like stand back.
Augie will actually like take the gloves off her hands and toss them to Sailix.
Put them away.
Yeah. If this is a battle, she'll want to bleed for it. She goes forward.
You're met with
I'll
weak
be back soon.
opponents. Scores of them. Sailix, you watch her ascend this winding path to the entrance of the great mine. Falcon arrives. It's Vesperins. It approaches you with a message.
He'll hold his arm out for it. Like just kind of still watching Aghi as she like just murders droves of undead.
Flowing through. Moving up the path. These undead, small, I mean, they're dwarves, so, and you could tell they'd starved long ago. They're screaming. Even a drop of blood from Aghi has tempted them into a frenzy as they swarm towards her, but it's no match. Those axes, she's retrieved again. They're blowing through them. More than one kill per even a single swing, and she has one in each hand. She makes her way up. At some points, the absolute dog pile of these creatures, it's hard to even make her out from the crowd, except you see the ripple as she's moving her way up. But you pull the note. It's, I imagine, from the Vesperin. The work of prestidigitation, as it's written, was attached to its foot. You're made aware of what's happened. Waldorff has had some sort of experience. He's leading them now to the Hidden Forge. You know you could turn around and help them, but it would take quite a while to get there. And I don't think Aghi's stopping anytime soon. What do you do?
He's gonna write back. New bird, who dis? He'll write back. Meet you at the noble quarter don't die.
Hmm. Let's go back. Rune Vesprin. Anything you do on the way? I imagine you're in quite a rush.
Let's see. I mean, I guess, again, like I said in PM, Vesperin would, mention to Rune that Pharasma appeared as Morta, and she feels that is significant, and presuming we live and the world isn't on fire, she feels it is prudent to go visit her. Or at least that she needs to.
As the Vesperin has gotten closer, Rune looks tired.
They're
distinct.
Okay with it?
He nods. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. You wouldn't happen to have a bread, would you? I'm starving.
I probably have something in my various pockets, right? Ian?
Oh, I'm sure you have some bread. You eat all the time. You've eaten twice since you guys left the prison. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. I feel like she was just munching on an apple in the cell. Yeah, she'd sort of reach out and hand him a little baguette of some kind. It's a little smushed.
He scarfs it down.
This
Need
is
some
a bit
water
weird.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. She hands him a little flask.
He finishes it. That's better.
You okay, mate?
They took our gear, which means they took my rings. It's going to take some time for them to reacclimate.
I got some chocolate too. You want that?
Don't mind if I do.
Okay. And she's just pulling random snacks.
He eats whatever she gives him. For what it's worth, I am also a little short on spells, thanks to their little trick.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I could really use a
sure,
nap.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Yeah. This would be great. I really need to not die this time. Because that would be very awkward.
So, we'll have a lot to talk about when all this is done about that little exchange.
It's fine. It's fine.
Vesperin,
Waldorff does leave.
I would quantify you as utterly terrified, and I need to know more about that.
You descend. A secret entrance carved behind a piece of furniture in an old watchtower along the north wall. You had a feeling it was somewhere along the wall. The magic of the armor, the rune that protected the wall, it seemed fading, chipped. You can see now that this crease, this tear, this weakness is somehow related to this thing. It's built under and modifying structures that have protective wards. It weakens the wards because they know not how to act when the shape of these things they're protecting, they change. And now that weakness makes sense. Perhaps whoever's doing this, maybe they would even want that weakness, that vulnerability in the wall. But it doesn't matter. What matters is stopping this Sufarian, as Dwarf says. With full certainty, he leads you here. He had known this place. You descend down the stairs into an
What should
open
we be expecting, Dwarf?
square room.
Vesperin
I
has
don't know.
Balgora like on her side now that like we're inside the place.
Dorf has a long spiked chain kind of wrapped around one arm and like resting in his hand, and in his other he holds what looks like a forge hammer.
I
And
think
as
I'm
he opens the door, he looks back at Rune and goes, I don't know what to expect on the other side of this, but I can tell you one thing. It will be bloody.
Good to know.
Vesperin's going to go invisible.
Vesperin goes invisible. Dwarf, you descend. Rune, do you do anything as you make your way down?
No, he's about as prepped as he can be right now.
All right.
Dwarf
Dwarf,
will literally attack anything that he sees.
Well, you seem to know right away. Making your way down these stairs, it was as you imagined. As you both, Rune, Vesperin, you make your way to the stairs, you can see in the corners, addressing this landing, large statues of dwarven guards. They animate, immediately turning and facing Waldorff. They look directly at him, and they even crouch a little bit to check his chest. No sigil. They step forward.
Hello, boys.
And for that, we'll do initiative. Vesperin,
It's
reroll
good
as
to
stealth.
see you again, lads.
And we will get back to that. You
Reroll with
reroll your initiative as stealth because because it
Okay.
automatically does mine as perception. But yep,
Ooh,
we'll cut back to
sweet.
that. Across the city, a quiet mine hears rumbling from beyond. Footsteps approaching, and they stop at a gate. A man sits at a throne about 50 feet away from this mine entrance. His throne sits in ruin along scattered bones on a rail cart track. He watches a small gate ahead of him. Aghi, go ahead.
So I feel like faced with this gate that's sort of blocking her path, she'll go to either side and just like embed her axes into the hinges and then like take hold of the gate and just like with this absolute like animalistic roar just like pull back. You could probably see like rock crumbling as she just brute force tries to pull this gate off its hinges. I don't know if that's going to be a strength check or just coolness.
Oh, it's gone. You discard the door. There isn't sunlight to pour into this mine, except the light behind you. Cast from Sailix's halo, it pours in, giving you a shadow. Tall, it barely meets this man in the opening of this little sanctum. A massive undead starts to rise behind him, but you know this to be Falrock. You remember what he looked like. It doesn't look like he's ready to fight, though. Unlike this creature that rises up to greet you. I did roll your initiative. Sailix, you do appear right behind her. But we're going to run 2 combats. Starting, if I'm getting this right, with the Vesperin. At
Yes.
44 from your stealth. They don't see you, of course. What do you do?
So the one that's further away from Dorf, which looks like large construct 2, I'm going
Yes.
to use my mark for death.
All right. Excellent. What else do you do?
That's 3 actions. So, you know,
Okay, yep.
like,
You are correct. All right. He is marked. Falrock, Aghi, Sailix. He moves over, letting this thing open up. He was sitting on a throne over top this beast. It looks absolutely starved. So happy to see you, actually. It moves towards you. And it prepares... Actually, no. It's crawling, because it is quite short in this shaft. You can see through its massive rib cage over to the other side. A spray of a breath weapon. Sailix, Aghi, I need a reflex save. Sailix, you succeed. Aghi, you succeed. You're taking half damage. 4d12 piercing bone shards drain out of this thing like violent twisted shrapnel. A hailstorm that's piercing your skin. Aghi, must feel pretty weird to bleed again. But
I feel like she laughs. Just like,
of course you're still standing. The first construct moves towards you. Dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
It slams you with a fist. That's a regular hit, not a critical. You take fully half of that. 28. Yeah, it's really not much to you. But you do feel your power waning. The next one moves in for a flank and attempts to hit you as well. That one is a miss. Your AC is higher than that. And it'll attempt again. Really quite angry. Let me get... What is your AC?
My AC, I believe, is 40.
Oh, yeah. 40. It doesn't hit. But you feel that protection. There was something about you. You felt unstoppable, and it's breaking slowly at the seams. Unsure as to why, but Aghi, it's your turn. What do you do?
Yeah. So Augie will move forward and pick up her axes that had fallen after coming out of the hinges. And just sort of looks up at the creature and still with like this chuckle on her face will just do like this double swipe with both of her axes at it. Maybe 36 hit.
36 should hit this thing. Let
need to remember how
me
to
double check real quick. 36 hits for sure. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I keep not targeting it. I'm so sorry. 10. And then, yeah, just following through.
Absolutely.
Oh,
No.
don't forget
She's
you
a
have
little
that
too
hero point from
excited.
chat earlier. I would save it though.
I'm gonna save it. Yeah, she needs to calm down. She's a little bit too excited, so she'll like take a step back to resettle herself.
I'll bet. Over to Rune, though. You noticed they checked him for the sigil. They seem to recognize him, and they're quite furious, and that's likely why they attacked him. But what do you do?
All right. So Rune is going to pull out a scroll, and he throws it in front of him as it unfurls. The arcane writing on it glows as he his hands begin to form very intricate shapes. He's being a bit more gesticulating than he usually is, since it's from a scroll. But as the spell finishes, the scroll itself sort of disintegrates and flits away in the breeze, and a circle forms at the ground. Divine energy emanating from it as a celestial is summoned.
Look, I'm just like letting you know if you pull me over there, I'll be mad as fuck. All right.
That's fair.
What does the celestial look like?
5th level celestial is summoned. I did not have a chance to look up the specific celestial yet, so I will let you know because I think it gets to act on this round.
5th level. So we're just going to do a Coral Angel. That is a 6th level celestial. You happen to know
Fair.
somebody who has Coral Angel blood, at least as far as you believe. The winged angels of humanoid form, the most attractive ones probably by far, are the Coral Angels. Probably the easiest for you to summon. But they are... Let's see if I can just drop one on the board right now. There it is. Coral Angel appears.
Oh, I don't see it.
Right by you,
There it is. Yep.
as it were. What would you have them do?
So have either of the constructs been hit yet?
No.
All right. So the one right in front of it, just do whatever it can do to destroy it.
Absolutely.
Rune, being hurt, will
Immediately.
take a step back.
A hymn could be heard. It sings over yonder towards it. It is a hit. A song you can't hear. Well, it's not channeled towards you, but this construct seems to crack at it as it hears. It sort of tries to brace itself and cover its ears through impulse, but you see cracks moving along this construct as this angel sings a violent song. It doesn't let up, however. Moves again. The second a miss. The third a miss as well. Do you do anything else?
Rune, being already hurt, just moved back and away from the fight. The Celestial will remain for the next 10 rounds.
Next 10 rounds.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Sailix,
All right.
you arrive.
Am going to close the distance. I can't move my token for some reason.
It's okay. Just move it, and yeah, it's a request that I just put it where you're trying to put it. Yep.
Not there, like right there, right in front of him. There.
Yep.
And then he is going to utilize, what was it called? I'm just gonna double slice once, twice, and then
Both a hit.
damage.
All three a hit. Describe what you do.
So Sailix pretty much coming forward, just like does that whole roll thing that he did over Aghi again, like brushing off the excess bits of bone that were sticking in her as he like passes over, and then landing in front, he just in a quick flurry of slashes like rises up, and his wings come out and kind of like hover him as he's like slowly drifting back down to the ground.
Right. Thing gravely hurt now. Waldorff, you're flanked by these constructs. What do you do?
One of them hit me, correct?
Yeah, the one
of
west of
both
you.
them
Yep.
hit me. That the one that hit me first is the one that I would attack, and I am going to use Flesh Roaster first, and if it hits, I'm going to use Hammer the Chained, which says I also draw my light hammer and make a melee strike with it against the same target, and immediately returns to my belt.
All right.
Flesh Roaster.
Nope. That's a critical hit.
Ooh,
With a nat 20.
Let me just read this. Both strikes count toward my multiple attack penalty, but the penalty doesn't increase until both strikes have been made. If the hammer strike hits, it deals damage as normal, and the target must attempt a DC 35 Fortitude save. On a success, the creature is clumsy 1 and stupefied for 1 round. On a failure, the creature is clumsy 1 and stupefied for 1 minute. Critical success and failure are different, but I'm sure you can read that.
All right. So in terms of flat damage,
And he's laughing the whole time. Like, he looks crazed while he's doing this. Like his eyes are wide, he's smiling, he's like he's in that it looks like he's almost in like a berserker rage and just like
Right.
cackling with it verges on madness.
Excellent. Concerning, but excellent. You should have 2 actions left.
Can I would like to use every action to do pretty much the same thing. He is just laying into this into this. It's a construct, yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, he's just laying into this construct like a rabid
Mine's
Wolverine.
8 still hits.
Like just the the chain and the hammer and just you've never seen a dwarf turn into a Tasmanian devil before.
Oh my god. And that one's a critical, even despite the penalty.
So he is
to damage
tearing them apart.
Yeah, this thing is
he's focusing on one at a time.
Absolutely chipping away. Right, let's see. All right, back to top of initiative. Vesprin.
So she would move here to give Dorf flanking, since I believe with Elvish step and everything, that's just a step for me.
A step would be 10 feet as a step.
Yeah, but I have
So
the
that would be
elf
a bit
step
more than
that
that.
doubles it. So I should be able to move twice.
The elf
as far.
step should take you. I think elf step takes you from 5 to 10
Okay.
per elf. But I think you have something.
But I also have the rogue thing that gives me an extra step as long as I'm going into attack.
There you go. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Skirmisher
One way or another,
strike.
I'm sure you can be there with an action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Skirmisher strike, because that lets me get an extra step as long as I'm going to attack, which I am. So I have flanking also with Dorf. I'm gonna hit it with Balgora. And yay!
To hit. Roll damage.
Cool. Okay. So he's marked for death. Which makes things a little more complicated. Because now I also have Backstabber and Deadly 6, which gives me it gives me another +1, I think. For the one thing, and then I think I get, I don't remember. Anyway, that I'm guessing since it's a construct, the bleed doesn't do anything.
There's no bleed to be found.
Cool. So that plus sneak attack. And then plus another 1 from the mark for death.
Excellent.
And then I'm going to try to attack it again. Ha-ha! Yeah!
Excellent.
And okay. And I still get sneak attack because my second hit is always flat-footed. And then again, plus the extra 1.
All right. 50. Excellent. You have a third attack left? No, there's
oh yeah,
action for movement.
yeah,
Or no, because
yeah. No,
Okay.
I mean I can try to hit him again. Yeah, why not? Eh. That's okay.
yeah.
All right. Those are my actions. And Ian, I'm going to save my reaction for if it tries to hit me, and it does, I go invisible, or is it on a miss I can activate it? I forget.
It's if you get hit.
Okay.
You activate it when you're hit. Yeah.
Cool.
Sailix. The Gashal Decoro moves in on you almost immediately. In its position, it seems so desperately hungry. You can tell from this close. Its breath smells like rotted teeth, and it tries to grab you. Jaws moving in first.
Oof.
38 is a hit. You take piercing damage. And you're grabbed. In addition, it makes an athletics check to your reflex DC. What is your reflex bonus?
21.
So the DC is 31. It beats it by
Oof.
1. You're grabbed, you're slowed 1, and you're holding your breath. It's moved in to eat you. You notice now, suddenly, you realize back tucked where the ribcage sort of hangs, beyond there are some strange organs there, at least enough to eat somebody. But you don't have much time to even process that. Suddenly, you're being swallowed by this thing.
All right.
More on that
love
near. Dorf, the construct, moves up. It's sick of you, and it's ready to dispatch you. A miss, followed by a critical miss. In a last attempt,
Dorf is like bobbing and weaving
last
like a
another
boxer.
miss. The second one turns to the Vesperin, who he considers to be a threat. A strike with his fist as it attempts to smite you. 40 hits. 4.
Invisible.
And with that, the Vesperin vanishes. Gone. It turns methodically back to Dorf and attempts to hit him.
Give me your best shot.
To which it's also
Come
a
at me,
critical miss.
boy!
It shatters on the ground. You notice these two things are just sort of towering above you. Aghi. Sailix has been swallowed. Last you saw
Yeah,
was his
seeing
wings
this happen.
falling into the throat, the esophagus of this great thing. What do you do?
Yeah, she just lets out this roar of rage and will take an action to go into a rage. I don't know if I need to like roll that. And will just charge forward at this thing. I think she was
Perfect.
already at it. And just with all of her strength, just swing at this thing, and I think it's a plus.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm going to hero point that.
Mhm.
Bad rolls. Does a 30 not hit? Oh my god.
Does a 30? A 30 is a
No.
miss.
Okay.
Hmm.
Hold on. Okay, second attack then. Man, what is Aghi doing?
A miss as well.
She's in shock.
Mm.
Like, nope.
A critical miss.
Yeah, I feel
Make a
like.
reflex save.
Ugh.
You notice Falrock is watching with his arms crossed.
Dice gods.
This Gashaw Degoro grabs you as well,
Together.
but more patiently. It's waiting to swallow something. Rune and this angel. What do you do?
I'll let the angel do whatever it's going to do first.
All right. First things first, it moves over to get between these two things, and it looks first at the one making a desperate attempt to kill Dorf, and pierces it with a song before turning its head over and letting that song echo to the next. It misses quite bad. This construct swats the angel away. He lands on the stairs. A shriek of pain. The first construct, west of Waldorff, seems to be crumbling to pieces, though. Barely standing up as these pieces just start falling off one by one. He has enough to get up and carry out his command, but what does Rune do?
Rune will that very old school familiar sound just sort of radiates out from him. Anyone who has hair kind of feels it on the back of their neck stand up as their nerves tingle a bit as pieces of the construct itself begin to sort of vibrate and float up and slam into it via telekinetic projectile.
Perfect.
Oh, I'll spend a hero point on that. Come on, Boyle. Oh, that's better.
There you go. The thing's destroyed. Shatters into pieces. Dust flying everywhere. Waldorff is caked in that dust.
Rune will throw up his staff in front of him as it begins to spin quickly, acting as the shield spell.
All right. Sailix.
Yes, sir. I am going to
Being
cast
swallowed.
Shadow Blast.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just
All
go
right.
ahead.
Yeah, because you do have a focus point left of your two. All right. So the shadow. It's a reflex save.
Yeah.
The DC of your reflex save. Your caster level is Your proficiency. The DC is 30 for the Shadow Blast. It succeeds by 1.
Oh, all right. Either way, he takes.
So I got it for you.
Okay.
55 points of damage. Describe what happens. What rains down on him.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So pretty much, as Sailix is being swallowed, Aghi would probably be able to see the familiarity of the shadows around the giant undead starting to like deepen and stretch in odd ways as the sound of cracking could be heard as in a just sudden rush, an explosion of bone and guts fly out in every which way, leaving Salix kind of hovering down once again beside Aghi.
Waldorff.
Mm-hmm.
Someone stole your kill. Yet there's still an enemy. What do you do?
He would laugh and kind of revel in the dust that falls around him, watching the construct fall in front of him, and then turn his gaze on the other one and just level a finger at him and go, your turn next, and just attack, just flat out. Every action I have, attacking with the chain and the hammer.
Perfect.
And I would use hammer the chained anytime I have the opportunity to.
All right. A critical hit for the first strike.
And then the
Exceptional
hammer right
damage.
after it, which flies out and returns back to my belt.
Right.
Just a
Hammer
flurry,
attack.
just a flurry of this flaming spiked chain and the hammer flying out and coming back and just like pounding into this thing with the fury of all of the years that Dorf has been subjected to this torture and this control. All of his rage and all of his anger is just focused on this construct.
That anger builds. You only realize now that maybe you're stronger than the tools you were given. These belong to a god you didn't choose to worship.
Right.
Those strikes,
Go ahead, sorry.
They strike true, but you only realize after it that you've started hitting this thing with your fists. Flesh roaster, your hammer, they both disintegrated. Their symbolism to a god you didn't have a choice to worship. You imagine he doesn't care about you anymore. These weapons, sinister as they are, they've fallen apart as you dealt blows to this construct. It's still standing barely, swaying side to side. You're unarmed. You're surrounded by rubble of dead constructs and broken weapons, but what do you do?
Do I still have an action? I cast Divine Wrath. When my weapons disintegrate, Dorf looks up at this construct with almost a smile on his face. Not quite, but almost. And he calls out, not to Druskar, the god that has kept him captive for so long, but to Torag. And he says, I know you've been with me this whole time. I know that it was you that kept me safe and has freed me from my chains. I ask you now, my Lord Torag, be with me. And I cast Divine Wrath.
Excellent. Divine Wrath.
Heightened, if I can.
Let's see. It's a success. What's the effect? 4d10. That's lethal. Describe what you do.
Shit. We froze.
Can you hear me? Is that my internet?
No.
All right. This construct falls. Broken. Shattered. A beam of energy. Something new from Waldorff. It breaks this. This room was probably nice once upon a time, but you entered and now it's covered in rubble. Waldorff, you don't even really remember what happened just as it happens. Suddenly, you're standing amongst these broken things that you've destroyed. A new symbol is on your chest. It's Torag, not Throskar.
Waldorff drops to his knees.
The combat has ended here, in this room, but we will circle back later. For now, this creature attempts to swallow you, Aghi, whole, and attack the jaws first, to which is a critical hit. Piercing damage. You're pulled in to the mouth, heavily wounded. You feel the constriction, an unholy grip on you with these internal organs blackened. It feels like soot and sap on the inside and smells like 1,000 corpses. You're in there with Sailix. What do?
Aghi maneuvers as best as she can to pull on the gloves that Sailix had handed her, and will very briefly, I mean, she can't talk, but just punch out in whatever direction she feels would be best with these gloves.
Yeah.
With her hand. Let's see here. 46. All right, so that's 46 plus 15.
4d6 plus 15. Yeah. Make an attack roll first for this hit.
Alrighty.
Actually, I have a fist attack for you. This would work.
There you go.
It is a hit.
Maybe you rolled it.
$19 points of damage. So you punch a hole. It screams as the searing light punctures it. This black, inky substance on the inside of its internal organs, spacious as it is, hits and globs. You can see the floor below. You're about 10 feet off the ground, actually. As low as this thing is, as it's crawling prone about the floor. You have 2 actions left. What do you do?
She will drop out of this thing's gut. Trying to catch her breath, and will pick up her axe and just like swipe up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Use
Chat,
that hero point.
hero point. I think I have a hero point.
You do.
If
you
ever
got
there's a
one.
time to use a hero point.
Yeah.
Much
That's a hit.
better.
Okay. Thank you. And then I don't roll very well. Ugh.
2d8 plus 5. Sailix.
Yes.
That opening gets a little bit wider. Aghi cuts into it. What do? You stand there. You see your wings getting even blacker.
I am going to thrash about with Leviathan while trying to make my way to the opening. I guess trying to like
Alright.
enlarge the opening further.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a critical hit. Your damage is lethal. Describe what you do.
so after seeing Aghi drop out, all you can you could probably hear Sailix yell something muffled in Celestial. Aghi would probably be able to make out the words "father" as a burst of blackened steel just kind of rips open the hole wider. As he drops down next to her, he'll just kind of wipe off the gunk off his shoulders, like, and that's how Lavendales do family time.
You move out of the body and it sort of just falls off on the other side. You hear a battle being waged below, just outside. You're so used to this. It was less than a month ago you were doing the same thing in Kowling, but it's a different kind of throne room. It's disgusting. It's putrid. It's not lavish. Not like Harold's, at least. This ghoul, a dwarf, in absolute rags, blisters and sores on his head. He looks at you with his arms crossed. Just staring.
Right. You just killed your pet. Now give us the crown. We'll be on our way.
I have it not.
That was the wrong answer.
I can show you who does, he says.
Better show it now because I'm about ready to kill you.
You kill me if you like. I might even come back.
Oh, you
If
see,
you want.
when we kill people, they stay dead.
Come. He leads you down the tunnel. Do you follow? Do you stop him?
Nah, Sailix will follow. He's in a mood. He's like, why not?
Mm.
Covered in gunk. It's been a day. Let's do this.
We'll cut back to you. Dorf, Rune, Vesprin.
Aye.
You're sitting in the rubble. You've seen this happen. You saw what occurred. With Torag, Droskar, these constructs. Go ahead.
Vesperin's still invisible from the strike, right?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, she would just, follow Dorf's lead.
Dorf is currently on his knees, kind of between the ruins of these two constructs, just kind of like in this pile of rubble, basically covered in the dust of the constructs that they've taken down. He's kind of in a state of it's hard to describe. He's he doesn't really he's not really tracking right now. He's kind of in between. He's kind of in shock, honestly, if I could describe it as anything. Like he's not really home right now. Like he was in that like battle rage, and now there's nothing left to hit, and so he doesn't really know what to do, and he's probably crying, but doesn't realize that he's crying. So he's got tears like streaming down his face, but he's not aware of it. So he's just kind of looking around. He looks lost at the moment.
Does Dorf look hurt?
I don't. I mean, he took a little bit of a beating, but no, nothing really significant.
Right. That's fair.
Precisely.
Any of his wounds, he's not paying any attention to anyway. He doesn't care.
All right. Rune will just place a hand on his shoulder and kneel down.
He kind of like starts a second when the contact, when Rune makes contact, he jumps a bit and then like looks up, and all of a sudden it's like somebody's home. And he makes eye contact with Rune, and yeah, he's there all of a sudden.
Did you find yourself again? Tarek, hear you?
He just nods. Aye.
All right then. Let's do that man proud and keep moving forward, shall we? There is a usurper here that must be dealt with.
I'll need a minute to we are in a forge, right?
Yeah.
I need a weapon.
We know this place.
And Dorf stands and faces Rune and says, "Hey, just give me a moment." And he goes and he finds 2 forge hammers, one in each hand, and picks them up, hefts them, finds like a good weight, and goes, "Lead the way."
As Rune passes by, he just does a quick tap on both of them, using sigil to imprint the symbol of Torag on both the hammers.
Aye, that's the right way to do it. You are a puppy's kin, aren't you?
So let Torag give a personal gift to these mates, shall we?
Aye, I'll deliver it personally.
Good on you. Looking at the Celestial, my friend, would you mind leading the way a bit?
He heads down. He opens a door. You see... you start to hear something, finally. Vesprin isn't anywhere to be found, but that's That makes sense. Given she
Rune has
vanished.
the invisibility. He knows where she's at.
Well, then that's perfect too. However, you'll know then that she was watching, observing the door to check for traps. Probably. Nothing of
She
important in this
sort
room.
of like she looks at the door and sort of like shrugs and gives a thumbs up. Maybe.
Rune will open
And
it
she
up
knows
again.
that Rune
Ask.
can see her.
Yeah. Yeah, Rune will open whatever door, but allow the Celestial to sort of head in first.
You see a ring on a table next to a phonograph.
Detect magic.
All things a phonograph. You haven't seen one of those since Alkenstar. Detect magic.
Yeah.
The ring is magic. Recognizable even.
What type?
It's a
Oh, you know what? I'll
Regents.
just do a quick. I'll do a quick arcane or crafting check to identify the ring, since I can do that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do this.
It's divination magic of a sort, inverted divination. It's like identifying something in the opposite direction. It belongs to a regent. You recognize them when the rings were thrown in, when they voted to keep you in the city.
Which one?
They're all identical.
Hmm.
You wouldn't know.
Huh. All
But
right.
there's junk all about
Is
this table.
there a record on the phonograph?
There is.
Start that playing while I keep looking around.
All right. Is it running? Well, Zephyrian, you haven't responded to my letters. You know I'm offended. Why wouldn't I be? We're civil. We can be friends. This is the last time I'm asking. Remove the painting, or I'll cut your fucking tongue. Good night. The end of the recording. It's Vaz Lorraine. You recognize it immediately.
Mm.
Something about a painting.
He just sort of slams his staff to the ground. Unspurned, if you wouldn't mind checking out the other doors, please.
She's gonna look. Do I need to make rolls for each door?
Yes, but tell me which order you searched them.
Okay.
Counterclockwise?
I guess. Sure. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors?
Yep.
Okay.
5. Yep.
All right. So 1. 2. 3. Yeah.
2, 3. That's fine. The first 3 lead
4.
to the same room you can see.
Oh, okay. Ugh.
The 4th leads to some clock, some turning, some engine room of sorts. Make it the 5th.
A 5th one?
Yep. Those lead to bedrooms. You see, nothing important within. So the first 3 that you checked in counterclockwise order, they lead to an open chamber. You feel heat coming from underneath the door, and you hear people talking on the far end of it. The one to the south leads to a different room entirely. It's echoey. You hear voices in it. But there are far more voices in the other 3 doors. The sound of bubbling,
So
boiling.
she would point to the first couple doors and do this, this, and then sort of in her best way to communicate a bunch of people talking, probably a forge. And then she would point to the last one, and then also make the talking sound, and then just be like, you said it was sounding more like a couple people, or just like 1 or 2?
A few, 3 or 4. You hear?
Okay.
3 or 4 down there.
Okay, so yeah, and then for the last one, she make the talking motion again and say like 3, 4, maybe.
Yeah.
So, looking at Dorf, Rune points to the room with fewer people. Apparently there are a few people in here talking. There are more people in the other door over there. I'm thinking we target the fewer people first.
I'll follow your lead, lad. Dorf just hefts a hammer in each hand and kind of grins almost. I mean, it's that kind of the crazy smile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, let's do it.
In a quick preparation.
He's hungry. We hungry.
Rune needs to do this, so I might as well help everyone else. Rune will cast Heal in a radius.
Heal, what's the radius?
30 feet.
All right. How much is the heal for?
It is going to be that much.
All right. You hear from the door to the south. Rage. Fury. Pain. From the doors off to the west, those 3 Vesperns scoped out. What was that? Inspect it. I told you something was wrong, you idiots. A call out loudly, as if someone was shouting across the room. To be clear, you heard a voice of pain to the south, and then to the west. People are alarmed, but we will cut back to you. Sailix, Aghi, you've been led down a path. A mine shaft that leads to a great long cavern. They've broken to a natural cavern from this mined one. Bioluminescence. You're down here for what feels like a lifetime. Winding through these paths, Foul Rock tells you you're in the Underdark. Deep below. You feel you have been descending slowly, but now you're on the ascent again. You have been for some time. You see coming up down below, kobolds, tribes of them, working tirelessly in a fungal farm. They don't look at Foul Rock in the eyes. We bring them offerings. They leave our land alone. If it takes toil, it takes toil. He looks down. These kobolds look more like slaves than workers.
That sounds like Druskar talk to me.
Aghi, Sailix, how do you respond?
Aghi just looks down, then back at this guy. Where is the crown?
I work for Sveshumerix. He's taken it from me.
Oh, great.
So we don't need you?
Oh, shit.
I'm bringing you to him. Kill me now. Where would you go?
Well, I've led an army of slaves before. Can't be that hard.
These. He spits down towards the kobolds. Doesn't hit any of them. They work away to keep the monsters happy. Do you see shackles? Elf. They live in fear, not chains. You have no idea.
Fear's just another kind of pain.
We're nearly there. Come. You have a moment to speak to
Sailix
Aghi,
will
but he
look
pressed
at
on.
and just kind of nod, as in we're just to indulge whatever we're doing. I would like to give Aghi one of my, because I have a healing potion, because she is messed up. Just saying that, so in case something happens, that caught 100 points
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. She's been like pulling out bone shards as you guys walk. Just, like letting them clatter to the ground.
You continue to follow. He leads you. You're on the ascent again. Now back. Rune. Waldorff. Vesperin, what do you do? You hear voices. A cacophony of voices, not aggressive. Down below, to the south in that room. That sound, that ticking, that turning, churning noise has stopped. But people are just talking amongst one another down there.
So that's the door with a few voices, yeah?
Yeah. Well, so to the west there are about 3 voices, and below there are at least 4 or 5.
All right.
Which
Uh,
direction
very quietly
is
to
the secondary entrance?
To the west. You know the forge is in there. You imagine that's where he is,
so
actually.
Dorf is still just deadly focused on finding the Zephyrian, and so I would direct the party in the direction that I think that he would be going to try and escape. The way that we came in is one way in. There is a secondary way in and out. And so Dorf would be directing Rune and the Vesperin in that direction.
Yeah.
We have to find him before he escapes, or all is lost. All is for naught if we don't find him. He knows that the chains have been broken. He knows that we are coming for him. We must catch up to him and stop him before he escapes, or all is lost.
All right, then. Let's get this door open and get this started.
Aye.
Rune, you see something out of the corner of your eye. There's not much here, but there's a rolled piece of paper. Canvas.
Does it look like a spell scroll?
It looks like a
Or a
spell scroll, but
painting.
much larger.
Does it look like a painting?
There's a note attached to it.
What's the note say?
It says vase. There. No tongue to split from me. Signed Z.
Z. And what is this a painting of?
The door to the south starts rattling. Help. You hear?
Can
Cry to the south.
Vesperin just grab the painting and like put it in a pocket or something?
Is Rune gonna let that happen?
Not before he sees it.
Hmm.
I mean, we got limited time. Let's just take it with us. Well, I mean, she'd be pantomiming this, like.
We can
Okay,
always come
Rune,
back.
you get a glance of it before Vesperin swipes it up, because there are seconds to spare. So you do get a glance of it before she grabs it, right?
Yeah, I mean, he understands the urgency of the situation, but if he can take a quick glance, he's just going to take a glance.
All right. That door to the south starts rattling heavily, shaking. Help us, please. The door to the south.
Oh, motherfucker.
Waldorff, you know, you remember, you think vaguely, you think you know what's in the room to the south.
Do I?
Some sort of engine, a machine of toil. Could be slaves in there.
They could. We have to free them. They could help us.
So
I would just open the door.
All right. Vesperin, what do you do about the footsteps?
And I would also
There's
pray to Torag as I do so.
Vesperin, you have maybe seconds. You have less than 6 seconds before that door opens. The door to the west. What do you do?
Do I have the painting secured?
You snatched it up.
Cool. Can I jam the
pissed.
lock? Can I jam the lock so we have some time?
There are 3 doors.
Fuck.
3 doors that lead to the same place.
Okay. Oh God. Okay. Wait, how am I over there? I thought I was in the room.
Oh, that's a bug. You're definitely in the room. I've got you in the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's see. I feel like then she would position herself. So where Rune is where all those doors lead to, right?
Yeah, all 3 of those doors lead to the same room. Yep.
Okay, and there's nothing I can use to like block them in any way?
Not if you had more time, yes. Blocking
Okay.
3 doors, you can really do it to one, but you don't know where they're kind of headed to. You could also
Okay.
wait for them to approach and bust one of the doors down if you'd like. You know you've just got one decent move here.
I'm gonna try then to jam up this door with Thievery, because then at least they only have like 2 ways to get in, or whatever.
Excellent.
Because we can funnel them a little bit more, hopefully.
Right. One hand does try to open it, but it is jammed up. Door, if you open it, it's a room full of slaves. It's coming back to you. You remember it now. It's painful to remember, but You remember it. This is where they kept them. That engine, believe it or not, it doesn't do anything. They just work all hours of the day to turn it. And you got to watch them do it for a time. But many of them, more than you thought, half a dozen filing out. There's a knock on the door. It's that voice again. All right. You're upsetting my men. We're quite busy. Could we talk?
Who is saying this?
Dorf, it's Zufarian.
It's Zefarian himself.
Yeah. A voice on the other side of the door where Vesper and Rune is. You hear the voice.
Open that door. No.
Oh.
And
Dorf, is that
he has
you?
the hammers. You know exactly who it is.
How?
You bastard.
Impossible.
Ow.
I'm taking the exit. Secure the doors, boys. Footsteps.
I want to break the door down
Moving
if
away.
I can.
Open the door
Vesper,
now.
are you going to let him do that?
So I want to point out
Let
that
me
there are
through
still
this
two
door.
other. There are two other doors that go to the same place.
This is true.
Don't
This is true. There are.
care.
Dorf, you could open up the. You could just charge through the other door, burst it down, just
If that's
buck it open.
If that's the path of least resistance, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
All right.
Because like
Yeah.
Vesprin is blocked this door and
No,
is
no,
not
no,
letting
you-
me through.
no.
I am going
You
through the
don't
other door.
see- You don't see Vesperin. That's my point. Like she is invisible.
Rune's on the
Whatever
other
is
side.
stopping this door.
Yeah.
But whatever's stopping this door from opening,
Yeah.
if there's another way in, Dorf is. I mean, he's got blinders on right now. He has got the biggest,
Absolutely.
he is laser focused on trying to get to, what's his name? Zefarian. And if I hear that
burst the door
voice
down.
on the other side of the door, I'm going through the door. Whether it's
You catch him
open
fleeing.
or not, I am going through the door.
As you bust open the door, you see him fleeing, two guards taking ranks to secure a position in front of you. Rune, you start to see the slaves file out, though. They
One
look
hammer to one guard, one hammer to the other guard, straight to the head. Dorf is laser
the charge is
focused
being met.
and is screaming a prayer to Torag as he lays into them.
Yeah. Of
I like it.
course. Now, yeah, Rune.
He is he is borderline multi-classing into barbarian because he is raging right now.
Ian,
Yeah.
between
he is I mean the haze of sheer rage has blinded him, and the only thing that he can see right now is Zefarian, and anything between him and Zefarian just needs to die and get out of the way. That's Dorf's
Vesperin.
entire thought process right now.
That's fine.
yes. So between all of my various movement things and Balgora's teleport, can I run fast enough as well as my high initiative to teleport to where Zefarian is in time to at least stop, or get there or stop that
That's
or
3
whatever.
actions. No, that would be
Huh?
3 actions.
No?
That would be 3 actions. But you notice a strange pattern. The slaves that emerge from this hole. More on that in a second. You notice them, they look like they're from all walks of life. Not slaves that you would imagine to see here. Not like the kobolds that Aghi and Sailix are seeing. But Aghi and Sailix, you make your way back up. A descent becomes an ascent. No longer you see these kobolds. You're brought to a room. A dark chamber. Sailix, do you turn on your light?
Sure does. Ain't catching me unaware.
Platform. As you look up, you notice a hole in a building beside you. You're back out. You see Sagarak again. You're on the other side. That looks like a prison. That hole, one you recognize. You hear that faint shining sound. Jewel Gate, perhaps. Just beyond, in those caverns. These are where the Gugs were. Falrock leads you up. Aghi, Sailix, do you do anything?
I mean, he's got Leviathan out, ready to go, trying to
Of course.
concentrate while in the darkness. Hopefully, with all this walking, get a focus point back.
Aghi, you?
Augie's just following, still has both her axes, and is itching to just end this guy right now because it seems like he's playing a game.
No. Curious, though. He's led you to Jewel Gate, and he takes you into that cavern, one you almost died in, Aghi. But you guys follow, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's important to note, like, if things seem like they're about to be led into an ambush, Sailix will just fucking kill him. All without hesitation. Just cut him the fuck down.
Right. You arrive at Jewel Gate. You see the arch. You were here only a few hours ago, Sailix, to drop Varys and Monica off, and he walks over. As you turn, you see the gate in your line of sight, the beautiful wall of crystals. They've been neutralized. They're not a threat anymore, but that glow on the inside, it calls to you as it always does. Falrock says, "What if I told you you can't really kill me? Curse about. What if I told you you have bigger problems to worry about?" I see you through this place. Tell me what you see.
I see a fool
No.
who doesn't realize that he led Pharasma's Chosen, thinking that he was unkillable. We might worship different gods, but I can guarantee you, she doesn't like the natural order being played with.
There's no natural order. Look closer. You see something in the gate. Back in Kovlar, underground in the Hidden Forge, Rune, you've seen all sorts of people throughout Galarian. You've heard about even more. Blue-skinned, Samsarans, fox-like creatures. A lot of these people, they're really truly from all over. They're coming out looking at you for assistance, for guidance, for healing. But you see someone, a thing you might not have seen before. A man. Long dark hair, pale skin. An accent, Ustalov. He looks at you. Shakes his head. He recognizes you. You don't recognize him. Vesperin as well. Dorian Ashwood stares at you. He looks hurt from the spell that you cast. No. Where is he? Where is Sailix?
I don't know right now, actually.
Where is the God Killer?
He's not here. I mean, not right now.
No. Back in Sagarak, Jewel Gate suddenly forming, creating an image. Appearing, it's a silhouette, Sailix. It looks like yours, like a shadow. Sort of reminds you of Zestrix. As it's traced, you see the wings standing before you across, and by the lighting and the placement of your halo, it almost looks like your own shadow, except it wouldn't make sense overlaid on the jewel gate itself, because it emits its own light. But as this thing takes form, appearing as though through teleportation, a creature with wings, not the kind that you've seen. They're wiry. They look stringy, like hair. Except they're attached to a body, a form, a broken thing, a twisted woman. The wings, they look like nerve endings, and they drag along the ground as she steps towards you. Her hands sort of open gracefully, ready to accept maybe a hug from you. In her hands is the largest set of clippers you have ever seen in your life. That's where we're going to end the session tonight, guys. Uh-oh. Some people are in trouble.
The reveals tonight. What the fuck?
Sitting on those puppies for a minute. Well, if this makes absolutely no sense to the people that joined us in the last quarter, I apologize. If it makes you feel any better, the players kind of have no idea what's going on either. They're just so delightfully terrified.
I would recommend, though, if you want in any way to catch up, watch our videos on YouTube.
They're there, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, we constantly go back and talk about things, so just like tune in. Yeah, 100%. Make sure to follow, and we will be back next week, but more on that. So let's go. Let's address what happened tonight and do our outro, starting with Mr. Smith.
Hello, I'm Mr. Smith. I played Rude Ravenswood, the utterly confused wizard right now. I kind of want to leave this as a reveal, but I kind of want to share it, so I'm just going to go ahead and share it. So, leave it as a reveal. Okay, all right. Request by the DM. I won't defy the DM on this one. I will just say that I was terrified that Pharasma was even within 15 feet of me, and I didn't even know it. And I'll leave that right there. Goddess of Death, 15 feet away. Yeah, that's not cool in any way. By the way, James, fantastic work tonight. Thank you. That was awesome. Utterly brilliant raging. Can't wait for next week.
Thank you so much. I love it.
Man. Yeah, James, go ahead.
I am so grateful to be able to get to play this character all the way through, and that he has made it this far, to be perfectly honest. To be able to play a character that is literally, or was literally, fighting every command that he got from this dark god, and to turn around and be able to be on the right side of things is such a privilege, and I love it so much. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to play this character and to be a part of this. I am so grateful for this. Thank you so much.
Of course. Sam.
Hey guys, I'm Sam. I played Aghi, as well as Pharasma today. Surprise, surprise. And I really enjoyed scaring Jen. It
Oh,
was great.
No one could have done it better.
Just this permanent goddess of death. It is great. And Aghi that wants to hit things harder than she's able to.
And the new hair works so well. Oh my God, Sam, your hair looks so great.
Thanks.
Killing it. Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen. I played the Vesperin tonight, the Sea Elf Rogue, who was the direct object of Pharasma's ire, and basically is having like I feel like she's having a mini psychotic break because Pharasma was just like, hey, here's all your worst fears, and you're right. But you know, she has a job to do, so she's pushing the panic attack over there because we have stuff to do right now. So it'll be fine. It'll be great. If you dig me, I am Savage Sparrow on the internet. I have an awesome site for nerdy apparel.
Go buy shirts. They're awesome.
Yeah, at savagesparrow.com. Also, patreon.com/savagesparrow. I have put up some Pathfinder art. You can subscribe for like $1 and see it, or like $10 for a year, because Patreon has a new thing where if you subscribe all at once, it's cheaper, which is awesome. And I also play in Sam's game on Friday, which is also connected into this universe. So check it out. Cheer on our new players. It's super fun and super great.
And last but not least, Daniel, how's Sailix right now?
Sailix is he's alright. Daniel's feeling bamboozled though. That's how I'm feeling. No, Sailix is he's connecting dots in his head, you know. He's like, well, shit. Yeah. But that's all I got. I got nothing. I got a confused elven celestial.
We will be back next week to fully address the confusion.
I do have a question. Where on earth?
I do want to say,
where on earth was
so
the pale
Ian.
stranger?
You are amazing. Like, Ian, you are so good. Like, oh my God, thank you so much for being the best DM ever. Like, oh my God,
pride and joy.
Thank you so much for letting me play with you.
Of course,
I think we need like a round of applause for Ian because
oh my God,
my heart,
gross, made me vomit. Oh well, but before we go, Sam, do you want to talk about our upcoming shows for this week?
Oh yeah. On Tuesday we're gonna have a Call of Cthulhu one shot, maybe a two shot, which mixes up with our one shot Tuesday with my Relics campaign that is running Tales from the Loop. And then on Wednesday we have the Brotherhood of Shadows, which is a version of a Song of Fire and Ice role-playing game, which will be by Pope from Pope World Build. We'll be premiering that on Wednesday. So they're both at 8:30, so make sure to come watch us on Penny for a Tale. We have a lot of good content that is coming out.
Ooh. And then I guess last thing to mention, yeah, again, if you liked what you saw with the virtual tabletop, this is Fantasy Grounds. Go to fantasygrounds.com. The music we typically use for our stream is Rock Narden, and then we have music and ambient tracks from Michael Gelfi. And also be sure to check out the Only Sheet if you like to use Excel and you are looking for like off virtual tabletop character management and planning tool. But then other than that, I will see all of you.
I forgot the Patreon. Don't forget the Patreon at patreon.com/pennyforatale. I always pitch that just for Mitch. I love you.
We love you, Mitch. And don't forget Mitch. We love you, Mitch. But we will see all of you next week at 8:30, where we pick up exactly where we left off. Tears will be shed. I am so sorry. Good night, everyone.